Hi there, it's Catherine again, coming back with some positive discipline tips. I have partnered with my really good Montessori colleague, Gabrielle Holt, at the Young Montessorian to bring you guys some foolproof tips to help you out at home. First of all, I want to say congratulations. You've made it through the first week of quarantining at home, social distancing. As we know, everyone is having to do this now. So we just want to give you some great tips to implement with your toddlers. And these positive discipline tips can be used at any age range with some tweaking. And I'm going to focus on toddlers today. Tip 1, connect before you correct. What does that look like in a real life practical situation? It looks like you getting down on your child's level as opposed to picking them up, giving them a gentle touch or a hug when they need it, as opposed to trying to stop them from feeling their emotions at all, being able to look them in the eyes and talk to them the way you would talk to a guest in your home. I use that approach because it helps me to visualize and remember that I want people to have the best experience and best service if it's their first time in my home, or if they're in my home and it's been many times, I want them to feel comfortable. So treating your child in that same fashion is, I think, really going to help you to remember to be respectful to them the way you would to any other living human being. Tip 2 is be kind and firm. I find that many of us adults straddle between being really firm or being way too kind, meaning we're being permissive and not having any boundaries. The basic premise of positive discipline is being kind and firm and understanding that we can do both at the same time. What does that look like in a practical way? It looks like me being able to set boundaries. For instance, if it's time to turn off the TV, I can set that boundary by saying, we've watched a lot of TV today, and in 5 minutes, it will be time to turn the TV off. I'll come back and remind you. And then following through on that. I might give a 2-minute warning, and then when it's time to turn the TV off, I'll come back to the child and say, it's been 5 minutes. It's time to turn the TV off. Would you like to press the button, or should I do it? And that way, I am setting a boundary, but I'm also being kind while I'm doing it. Now, does that work in every single situation? No, but it's also important to do tip number 3, which is practice the pause. Being able to regulate your own emotions and recognize how you feel, whether that's frustration, happiness, sadness, and just stopping and taking a breath. Because when you're releasing that oxygen into your brain, it's going to help you to take that moment to regulate yourself and understand what's happening and how you're feeling in the moment. And that is paramount when dealing with toddlers. We have to make sure we keep our cool so they keep their cool as well. And when they don't keep their cool, you're able to get them back to a place of regulation and just being able to feel good. Connecting before you correct. I'm really hoping that these are some practical tips that you're able to use when you're at home with your toddlers. But remember, your child wants to be heard just like you want to be heard. So it's important to make sure we're connecting with them and we're really listening to their opinions. Here's an extra tip for the road. When you're talking to your child and you're getting down on their level and looking them in their eyes, make sure you give them 8 to 10 seconds to respond to you before you say anything else. What I typically do is I count from 1 to 10 in my head before I say anything else. And typically by the time you get to 7 or 8, they will have answered. Be well while you're at home. Make sure you're spending this good quality time to connect with your child, because these are great memories that you're going to want to cherish forever. If you're looking for more positive discipline tips, please go and visit YouTube. It is at Peace Love Mason, and we'll have plenty plenty of videos and resources there for you to look at.